Hey guys, thank you very much for tuning into another video of my life. In this video we are going to do an unboxing of the Motorola Moto G84 5G. First of all, bit of an apology for my voice. I have a very sore throat right now, but things must go on, so I'm going to do this unboxing anyway. Hopefully you don't mind too much. Please of course leave a like, comment and subscribe if you find this video helpful. Before beginning, like I do with all my other videos, I'll talk a little bit about the device, the specifications available for this phone, and the reason and rationale why I purchased this device and why you might want to also, and the sort of target audience which I think that this phone might be suitable for. I'm going to now bring the specifications of this device on the screen so you can take some time to read through that. I might highlight some of the numbers as well for you. So here are the specifications. These are available on the website, which is GSM Arena. It also has a really good comparison tool right here where you can compare one phone with others, so do check that out as well. You can see that this phone was available to purchase in September 2023, which is about 6 or 7 months ago. 50 megapixel 1080p camera, 6.5-inch screen which is full HD, 8 or 12 gig RAM with 5G connectivity, and a big battery as well, as at 5000 milliamp hour. It also has fast wired charging at 30 watts, and we'll go through the charger and bits in a second. You can see the weight details, dimensions there, the fact that it is a dual SIM phone as well, and it is IP54 dust and splash resistant. You can see it's a OLED screen with 1 billion colors. I'm not seeing where many phones kind of talk about how many colors that they can display. Maybe 1 billion is quite good, but I've never seen Samsung or anyone else really brag about the number of colors that they can show. You can see 120 Hertz screen refresh rate is pretty good at this price range as well. The rest of the details are also on the screen in terms of the specifications. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can read through those on the website yourself or on the screen as they appear right now. The internal storage is 256 gigabytes, and that is more than enough for almost everyone I can possibly think of as a user. You can also see that the camera setup has HDR, panorama, 1080p at 30 and 60 frames per second, and you've got the selfie camera as well, which is 16 megapixels. You can see some F values there. The lower the F value, the more you can have the better bokeh effect, I believe. You also get optical image stabilization at this price range, which is quite amazing at the budget price range and where you will find this phone. You also have Wi-Fi Direct, which is brilliant, so you can sort of screencast and things like that. 3.5mm headphone jack, which are fastly disappearing, at least on the top end of the price range. Wi-Fi. You can see the battery type there and the price and so on and so forth. Okay, you also get gyro, compass. Sometimes I used to remember back in the day, compass used to be something that was skipped on a really sort of budget devices. You've also got a fingerprint scanner, which is under display and optical, which is also amazing at this price range. So those were the specifications. Let's move on to the reason and rationale behind why I bought this device. By the way, you can skip straight through to the unboxing of this device if you want to, but as with most of my videos, sometimes I like to talk about the reason and rationale about why I purchased a particular device. In this case, this is more of a backup phone. It gets used mainly for talk, text, and the occasional pictures. Nothing really in terms of going on a holiday or something like that. That's not what this phone is going to be used for, and taking those really sort of cool long-lasting pictures if you like. For that, I have the Samsung S21 Ultra, which is actually the device from which this video is being made right now as we speak. So when it comes to budget devices, what do I mean by that? So this video is going to be published sometime in March, April 2024, and at this time I think a budget device is under £200. Now this phone can be purchased for £190 to £200 on Amazon right now. I've bought this phone personally from eBay. There will be links in the description if you wish to use the eBay links. It helps the channel but doesn't cost you anything extra at all. And for this device I paid £150. It's mint condition, but it is used, and we'll see the condition very shortly. This video is also just going to be an unboxing. I'm not going to be reviewing this device in any form, but there are a couple of very helpful videos which I found online, which I checked out myself, which I will leave in the description as well as in the comment section for you to check out, because if someone's already done excellent work, why do I need to repeat it? Okay, so the old device which I had, which this one is replacing, is actually an Honor 8, which is a very, very, very old phone. That ties in nicely with the overall justification of why you would end up buying a device like this rather than others. So within this price range, if you're ever looking just for budget devices, pound for pound, in theory, you get the best value by the Chinese manufacturers. So these are the likes of Xiaomi, you have your Oppo, and so on and so forth. There's many of these varieties, and Huawei and so forth. The issue with these devices, and I have no issues with Chinese manufacturers, for example, and all the different Bluetooth headsets that they manufacture, mouse, keyboard devices, displays. If you go on Amazon, most of these popular Bluetooth headsets, which are very high quality, reasonable price, they're all Chinese manufactured. And I myself am a proponent of those devices because they're such high quality but such reasonable price compared to the features that they offer. But when it comes to smartphone and sort of high tech, if you like, so the CPU, fast sort of GPU, etc., there are some security concerns in the sort of telecoms chip, if you like, in US and the UK, and these have been highlighted for many, many years. Now we can argue about whether or not these are valid or they're not valid, but the accusation is that there are some backdoors built in to these devices which cause security concerns for the US and the UK and the likes of them. The second type of concerns that these governments also have is that China in general makes it mandatory for all their companies to basically give them any information that they request at any time. So any data, any user information, anything you can think of. These sorts of concerns, I think, also are transferring over to the likes of TikTok and any other sort of popular Chinese brands and tech companies and their products. So even though I used to be someone who used to buy Huawei devices, Honor devices, etc., because they were such good value and packed such a lot of punch in terms of performance, both in terms of camera and day-to-day use compared to other devices, I can't buy them anymore, and I haven't done so for the last few years. And the one before my current phone actually was a Chinese manufactured Oppo device. It was an Oppo Reno 2. After the Oppo Reno 2, I moved on to the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, and then after that I moved on to the S21 Ultra 5G. So I transitioned over from the Chinese brands over to the Samsung brand. There was also another reason behind why that is, and that is because when you go to America, the American companies, the Telecoms Networks, had no support whatsoever for the Oppo Reno 2. So you could be there as a tourist, you need a local SIM, you go into the shop and they tell you that pretty much, unless you have a Samsung or an iPhone, and an iPhone just has a complete monopoly in America, if you want to look into that, it's a nice business studies, sort of a rabbit hole that you can go into. I certainly have interest in that, and if you do, you should check that out, that whole journey as to how they dominated the American market. But the point is that if you talk about Xiaomi sort of devices or Oppo, first of all, they barely even heard about those devices, and secondly, there are telecommunications networks in America that don't support that. So even though when you were on holiday in Europe, the phone just worked fine, if you're on holiday in the UK, the phone worked fine, all of a sudden you go to America and you're stuck with a device which the local telecoms don't support. And that is the primary reason why I switched over from the Chinese manufacturers over to the likes of Motorola, or in my case previous to this, Samsung, because Samsung is widely supported everywhere around the world. There aren't any security concerns any governments can talk about. In fact, governments probably use Samsung phones or devices somewhere or other as an alternative to iPhone devices, so you're not going to have any of those sorts of issues. Motorola is also another company, of course, which isn't going to come under scrutiny anytime soon, and it's going to be supported security-wise, this one anyway, for 3 years I believe, and 2 years with Android updates as well. And I've checked online, and it appears that Motorola G84 5G is supported in the US as well. So if I happen to be on holiday in somewhere like the US, then I know I don't have any concerns about my phone not working. So those are the sort of main reasons. Number one is the price. It's a really high performing device for the price. I think it's even better than the Samsung alternative available between 150 to 200 pounds. Pound for pound, it's better than that. Samsung will give you 4 years worth of OS updates and 5 years worth of security updates. This, as I mentioned, is not as long as that, but the idea is you would buy one of these and then in 2 or 3 years later you'd replace them with whatever is available as of that time as well. So sometimes I talk about my rationale behind buying this phone, and I hope that someone out there, when they're thinking about buying the next device, this information will help you in some way. And like I mentioned, even though on surface level it may seem like these Chinese manufacturer brands are really good value, if you are someone who likes to travel around the world and you want the confidence that your device will be supported no matter where you go, then you want to keep something like that in mind. And then for the price range of 150 to 200, you also want to see how many things are packed into a device. For example, 5G, for example, optical image stabilization, the amount of megapixels the camera has, and so on and so forth. And I think the camera on this device competes well with its equivalent in the Samsung side of things, if you like. So without further ado, and I hope you found all of that helpful, we're just going to start unboxing this device now. So as mentioned, this is a second-hand device. I'm not going to show you the IMEI numbers, etc., of course, at the bottom for security reasons. This one is a Pantone, I think it's called Viva Magenta, I believe. There you go. Front, back, side, etc. Okay. And plastic-free packaging, isn't that nice as well? Very good. There's a screen sticker of sorts, which I'm guessing comes with it when it's new. And in these budget devices, I remember back when I bought a OnePlus device, used to get these sort of clear protectors with it, TPU protectors, and I think it's really nice that at the budget end of the spectrum, you get this sort of things all included. Surprisingly, on the high end, you don't get any of this, and you're entirely reliant upon purchasing the accessories yourself. Isn't that ironic? But that's the back. We'll take this off in a second. Let's see what else is in the box. Okay, so you get the USB cable, which in this case seems barely used at all. Like I said, it was mint condition. Let's look at this as well. This is the charging brick. Again, the person has done a nice job of packaging everything the way it was when it was bought new. You can see, I think that stands for 33 watts, which is the charging power. So it has fast charging as well. Again, at this sort of price, 150 to 200, it is just amazing value as to what you're going to get from a Motorola device. There we are, that's the bottom. There's nothing else in here apart from a SIM removal tool. I'm sure when it's brand new, maybe you probably do get something like user manuals perhaps, but that's not included in this box, and we don't really care about them because we don't really read them. Let's open the back up so we can see the color in all its glory. Let's get a close up on that. You can see it says right here, Pantone Viva Magenta. I'm not sure why the camera's having a little bit of trouble focusing on that. I'm not sure if it's crystal clear, but the printing is definitely crystal clear. Okay, this is the camera unit. 50 megapixels, it says on there, 2 micrometers. I think that refers to the sensor or the pixel size, and the optical image stabilization, the OIS. The larger the pixel size, the better the light performance should be in a low light condition. But of course, at this budget end range, you shouldn't expect the low light performance to be very good. but it should be passable at some level. The Samsung S21 Ultra, the one that I'm using right now to film this review, or rather unboxing, it has amazing night performance from what I could tell. Let's take this off. There's the screen, completely flawless, and I'm going to turn it on for the first time. Powered by Android, and the screen to me from here looks really sharp, looks bright enough, and I can't wait for it to turn on.
Hello Moto.
Okay, so it just did the Hello Moto, which I remember now. It's probably, gosh, 15 years since I've been hearing that on Motorola devices. It has the England, United Kingdom on there already. And again, I'm not really going to go any further than this because I'm going to set this phone up later. This is just purely an unboxing and a review. And what I will do is I'll give you really nice close-ups so you can really look at the texture. This is a soft texture at the back. It is eco-friendly plastic, I believe, leather effect. It is soft to touch. It is very grippy. You feel comfortable when it sort of touches your skin. I don't mind this at all. This is fine. It could have been a bit smaller, but I'm guessing there's some sort of partnership between the two companies, and they probably gave them a discount. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, there you go, guys. This is the corner, or one edge, one side of the edge. This is the top. Again, camera having a little bit of trouble focusing for some reason. There you go, that's the top. Dolby Atmos, it says right there. This is the bottom. Let's turn it this way so you can read all the font, etc. Okay, it says UKCA CE. It says the model number, the type, made in China, and Motorola Mobility MFR, things like that. Okay. This is the other side. Volume rockers. It's perfectly fine. They work just fine. Little bit, I mean, they're perfectly satisfactory, but a little bit mushier than the high-end devices. Like I said, if you buy the Samsung Ultras and so forth, but perfectly passable. If you have any questions about this item, about this video, anything like that, feel free to comment in the section below. Any feedback, etc. for the next video as well. But hopefully this gave you a nice, quick overview of the condition of the item, the sort of things you should expect from a box, and hopefully it helps you with your next purchase decision. In terms of the sort of people I think this device is for, it is for, I would say, parents and children. Okay, people who aren't going to be gaming, who don't really take a lot of or serious sort of photography type of videos or photos on their devices, so they don't really need that high end kind of a situation when it comes to the camera. And definitely, apparently, this isn't meant to be good for mobile gaming. Now, I'm a console gamer, so gaming on a mobile phone isn't relevant to me. But like I said, for your calls, texting, browsing, this is going to be a perfect device for that, and also decent camera performance. Although it is not going to be flagship level, it'll be definitely giving you value for money for the price that you paid for it. So hopefully you found this video helpful. I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Goodbye.